Hello and welcome to this week's Battle of the Ports and the classic from Konami. This is the 1981 arcade hit Super Cobra, the official sequel to Scramble. In Super Cobra, the player controls a helicopter through tight caverns, but be very careful as the slightest mishap will result in the loss of life. But unlike Scramble, the game can be continued from where the player left off by adding more credits and pressing fire. The controls are pretty simple, with the helicopter being equipped with a laser and bomb to destroy defenders, tanks and UFOs, while infiltrating 10 Super Cobra defense systems. Just like Scramble, your ship has a limited fuel supply, which is depleted over time. More fuel can be acquired by destroying fuel tanks in the game. The game is divided into 10 sections plus a finale, each with a different style of terrain and different obstacles. Super Cobra was a commercial success, selling 12,337 arcade cabinets in the US within 4 months. In total, 27,473 Super Cobra cabinets were sold in the US alone. The very first port actually came to a mobile tabletop device known as the Adventure Vision by Intex Industries. It used a display technology that comprised of red LEDs and mirrors, very much like that of the Virtual Boy. This port was released in 1982, and while a pretty competent effort, it is extremely hard due to the nature of how the game runs. By the way, that flickering effect is normal. I dread to think what this footage looks like for anyone watching at 30 frames per second. "1982 saw another release, but this time using conventional display technology. This is the Magnavox Odyssey 2 version. This is quite the unique version as it changes up the gameplay quite a lot to suit the confinements of the target hardware. Rather than scrolling the screen, we now get screen-by-screen maps. This results in a much easier game and also gives us a helicopter that has what is basically an energy bar rather than single lives, as you just keep flying after every hit. However, there are no continues, so you will need to complete the whole game with 1 credit. With a little practice, I can see that being quite doable. Another obscure bit of hardware, this is Gatkin's Compact Vision TV Boy version that hit Japanese store shelves in 1983. Actually, this version of the game is known as Chikaitu Daisakusen, but it's fully licensed by Konami. I'm now stuck in thinking if the screen-by-screen scrolling of the Odyssey 2 version was preferable to the jerky scrolling of this TV Boy version. What I can tell you though is that the gameplay on this port is very strange. Your fuel is paired with your weaponry. Basically, the more you shoot, the faster the fuel runs out. Don't shoot and your fuel will remain. Very odd. This game is also very simple too. almost nothing tries to attack you. You'll lose most of your lives due to flying into walls thanks to the iffy control sensitivity. It's no surprise that the Gakking Compact Vision TV Boy was only on the market for a few months. Staying in 1983 for the time being, and yet another obscure machine. This is Super Cobra on the Casio PV-1000. Finally, a version of the game that looks somewhat like the arcade and plays like the arcade as well. Unfortunately, the juddery scrolling can put you off, especially when enemies seem to sporadically dart all over the screen without any rhyme or reason. Maybe another version of Super Cobra to leave alone. Next up is the Atari 2600 version, and believe it or not, the best playing version so far. As the Atari 2600 only has one fire button, both gun and bomb are assigned to the same button press, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. The game plays quite well with smooth enough scrolling and well designed stages that require skill to be on form during later levels. The only real complaint with this version is that the UFO stages drag on too long and are incredibly easy. Television up next with a version of Super Cobra that scrolls very smoothly. Easily the smoothest version so far. This port, like many of the Western home ports, was developed by Parker Brothers. Still in 1983 with the Atari 5200 version, and I don't like this one. The helicopter is too big, making it more difficult than it needs to be. Also, there seems to be no attack pattern at all. Everything is so random, so you can't even learn the stage. Another pass. Next up, we are taking a look at the ColecoVision port. Now, in all honesty, I was expecting this to look more like the arcade original than it does. However, with that being said, we do have a nice version of the game that's worthy of your time. The Atari 8-bit line of home computers also got a port of Super Cobra, and as is almost always the case, it's identical to the Atari 5200 version. Moving on to 1984, and we see an official Konami port to the MSX. Konami have mixed things up here rather than giving us a straight up arcade port. This version has more emphasis on flying objects causing damage more than anything else. It's not a bad version of Super Cobra, but I do feel it is quite a different game. In 1998, Konami Antiques MSX Collection hit the Saturn featuring 30 classic Konami MSX games. As you've guessed it, Super Cobra was one of them. Now, I'm not entirely sure if these are emulated MSX ROMs running on the Saturn, or if the games were recompiled to run on the Saturn natively. Either way, what you got on the MSX is what you get here. And let's take a look at all those versions of Super Cobra running side by side.